What's up, guys? DJO Bowser here. Just kind of wanted to do a quick video. I guess it would be like a videology or game history. You can call it what you want. But anyway, the topic today will be Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I've been on YouTube most of the day today, just watching different videos. And one of them had to be about Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, talking about the Majora's lineage, its history, how it came to be. And I was watching Peanut Butter Gamer's video, and I love his theory. And there was another guy I watched. I don't know what his name was, but anyway, theory was great. I loved it, and I'm not saying anything was wrong. He pretty much everything he said was to a T. But I was kind of want to touch up on it because I actually finding out this history to Zelda games really kind of intrigues me. But the thing about Majora's Mask, it was a great game. I loved it. Took me a long time to beat it, but it wasn't really the storyline or the dungeons or anything like that that really got me. It's the side quests, the masks. Some of them weren't hard at all to get at all. Like some of them were like to get Cafe's mask. All you had to do was go in and talk to his mother. That was basically the easiest mask in the game, other than the Great Fairy and all that stuff, all those other ones. But even though Majora's Mask wasn't a playable mask, but still, the history of it, like, part of the story, they say that the I don't remember if it wasn't Majorans. It was some kind of dark race, dark tribe. They didn't make it. It was already there, but they used it to cast hexes and stuff, and you can see all this information when you play the game, like in the beginning of the game when you talk to the mask salesman. He tells you about the history of it. But there's also other little side notes and teasers, Easter eggs about it, like on Termina Field, and basically too about how the two realms are somehow tied together, like the pillars that stand in Termina Field. If you look at them at an angle, the Triforce is actually on those. You see the triangles on the pillars there. It actually shows there's some kind of tie-in between the two realms, the of Hyrule and Termina, however you want to pronounce it, it's whatever. But one of the interesting little things, like I said, it's really intriguing to figure out what the history, the lineage of that mask was. And a bunch of people say that it was just a mask that was there. And of course, the mask salesman, like I said, tells you at the beginning of the game, it wasn't the Majorans that made it. It was some dark tribe. They actually banished it because it was too. They thought it was too evil and too dark to keep in this world. So they banished it to what they called the Dark World. They didn't say what it was. Just said Dark World. That was it. And there was one part in the game where I don't know if it was the character. Oh, it's when you go up to the composer brother. I forget his name, but it was the one that teaches you the Song of Storms to wash out the well, to make the water pure, and to get rid of the mummies. Sorry, I can't remember their names, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, part of his story, when he talks about, he says that the Skull Kid with the Majora's Mask placed a curse on him to make him roam that land as a ghost until whatever happens. Once again, I forget what it was, but he says that Skull Kid cursed him, and he was cursed to roam there until he was able to be at peace or something like that. But part of his story that he talks about how the Majora's Mask came back into the world of was saying that there was a stranger or someone that purged purged open the gate of Ikana, and that's what everyone says. That Ikana is supposed to be the. It's not really the gateway, and not really the link, but most of the stuff that's in Ikana Canyon, Ikana Castle, ties that link between Hyrule and Termina. Like most of the stuff that happened in Kana, that was the old blood history, blood from Hyrule's remnants. So that's another little thing that you can see that ties the two games together when they made them. And like I'm sure when they made the game, they weren't meaning to like make it a direct sequel, but it was a sequel. I don't know. I guess it's just something they wanted to give the gamer a little intriguing feeling to know. Well, hey, there's a lot more here than what we thought. You get to find out these little things that somehow this Termina and Hyrule were still linked in some way, instead of just being an alternate parallel universe to Hyrule. But it talks about in Ikana Canyon, after they talk to the composer brother, he tells you about a stranger who purged open the land of the gate of Ikana, which supposedly is supposed to be, like I said, that door to the realm, the crossover, and that's apparently where I've heard and read where Majora's Mask was kept. And I'm actually on a website here too that I do some of my once state studies, but where I read up on it, and I didn't know about it until I looked it up. But you can actually go to Zeldapedia, and I just found it. Give me one moment. It says a mysterious mask is known as Majora's Mask has been stolen by a mischievous imp known as the Koke. It is being used to summon the moon to destroy the entire land of Termina, and you're presented with that when you start the game. I'm trying to see if I can find where I read it the last time. But the stories are that, like, the composer brother, he tells you about the land being purged open, and then I believe it's the king of Ikana tells you about how that's where all the blood of Hyrule lays because they were cursed by the Majora's Mask by the Skull Kid. And I think, if I remember correctly, playing it, they actually talked about it too, saying that there was a strange figure who purged open the gates of Ikana and stole the mask. And I know it talks about somewhere in this website, but like most of my readings when I read about Zelda is at Zeldapedia. I mean, you pretty much have a PDF for most of anything if you look at it. But so you get like 2 to 3 different stories or theories that the strange figure that people have seen or they know the legend speaks of. Some people say this theory resides around the Happy Mask salesman, and I've heard theories about that too. I've seen videos about it, people talking about it. I'm kind of thinking it is as well, because I mean, how it makes you wonder when you start the game. He talks about how his precious mask was stolen by an imp. If it was his precious mask, how did he get it? Uh, and it says that this dark tribe banished this mask to the Dark Realm. So, there's something there that makes you wonder: is the mask salesman the true enemy behind all this? It's like, and of course he's in Ocarina of Time too, but there he was just a happy mask salesman. He didn't have no means of destroying anyone. He was selling you masks that you had to sell for him. But I love how they put him more into the story on Majora's Mask because he actually was a key factor in this quest to save Termina. And to touch up on the theory behind him being the ultimate protagonist behind this whole thing is like when you beat the game and it shows him finally getting his mask back and he thanks you for defeating the imp, defeating Majora, and it says, I'm pretty sure it says, talks about how the magic's left the mask and it's no longer a threat to Termina. And as you watch the cutscene, the masked salesman, after he thinks he goes through his routine, he just walks off into the distance and just disappears. And so I'm kind of thinking that was the whole gist of the game. And like I said, it's a wonderful game. I play it time after time whenever I can. Like, uh, I play it on emulator on computer, or if I'm at a friend's playing it with my friend or something. Let's see. I'm actually on that Zelda Peter right now. I was trying to find that there's like right here where it talks about how supposedly Iconic Canyon ties in somehow to Hyrule. Using the mask he obtained from the Gorman brothers. Okay, the Composer brothers, the Gorman brothers earlier. Link is able to enter. Okay, no, sorry. That was the shadow mask you get to speak to the shadow to get to the canyon. I'm sorry. You can blame me later. But Link is able to enter Iconic Canyon, the once proud home of two warring nations. This inhospitable land is most devoid of living inhabitants. A group of Gibbos, okay, that's the mummies, Gibbos, surrounded a house nearby. Link is able to restore the flow of water, activating the music box that is part of the house. The resulting song causes the Gibbos to retreat within the earth, allowing the little girl who lives there to leave her house freely again. Link is able to bypass her, sneak past her, get into the house, and finds her deformed father. It's one of the quests within the game, who has been cursed by the Gibbos. Link is able to play him the Song of Healing, sealing the curse within the Gibbo mask. Link is able to use the mask to traverse into the empty well. And that's kind of just talking about how he gets into the Stone Tower and all that. But that's kind of my theory, my thoughts behind the mask salesman and the whole plot of Majora's Mask. I wish I could find that section about the how Hyrule and Termina is tied between the realms. But I guess I'll take care of that in the next installment that I do. But this has been my gameology video, my theory thoughts. But this is DGL Bowser saying thank you for watching, and if you want to see any more theory videos or just discussion videos, just send me a request, a comment, let me know what you want to see, and I'll get it up for you, okay? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. DJO Bowser signing out.